If given a loan for $800, what would you do? Would you pay down some bills? Would you maybe go shopping? Well, Berry Gordy took a family loan for the same amount and created what would become the iconic, legendary Motown Records in 1959. Hi, my name is Shane Dickerson, and today I'll be talking to you about the incredible Motown Records. As a singer and songwriter, it is this type of music that I learned to love. I'm a music lover, specifically classic R&B. My parents used to make me listen to it when I was a kid, but as I grew up, I fell in love with the music of Motown. And I was even more impressed by the vision of this one man, Mr. Berry Gordy. I simply want to share my knowledge in hopes that I may share something you may not have known about Motown. Today I'll be giving you some information about the amazing history of the label, tell you about the impressive list of artists that have been a part of the Motown family, and also discuss where Motown is today. It's nearly impossible to acknowledge the history of music without taking a trip to Motown. This brainchild of Mr. Berry Gordy has caused millions to stop in the name of love and dance like they're on cloud nine. Every song that left Hitsville, USA is engraved into the catalog of Black history. Motown has provided the soundtrack of our history. But I guess you're wondering how it all started. Well, I thought you'd never ask. Mr. Berry Gordy was born in 1929, just 1 month after the stock market crashed and launched the U.S. into the Great Depression. So it would be an understatement to say that Berry Gordy had to live a tough childhood. Growing up, he also had a love for music. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, Gordy opens up about the introduction to the about his introduction to the music industry. He says that he was a songwriter for Jackie Wilson. He says that this business venture didn't make him any money, and that overall he really wanted his own record label. In 1959, Gordy had to convince his older sister to loan him money from the family savings account. This was the only way the dream would become a reality. His sister would ultimately give him the money. The loan of $800, Motown Records was finally born. He found what used to be an old photo studio and turned it into a studio for his Motown artists. He would later call it Hitsville, USA. This structure still stands today in Detroit, Michigan. And Motown has went on to develop such artists as the Isley Brothers, the Temptations, the Supremes, the Jackson 5, and Stevie Wonder. Two of my favorite acts from the Motown were the Jackson 5 and Marvin Gaye. I still listen to their music as if I were alive when it hit the airwaves. I wasn't born when the Jackson 5 made their debut, but I can recall all of the hits that caused that caused them to forever change music. Jackson 5 was one of the biggest pop acts of the 1970s. The band consists of five brothers: Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael Jackson. The band of brothers gained hometown popularity in Gary, Indiana, before ever meeting Berry Gordy. Would you believe that Gordy was actually apprehensive about signing the act to his label because of the difficulty that was involved in signing underage artists? But after he heard them, there was no question that they would become a part of the Motown family. The act catapulted into fame and made their mark in music history with hits such as ABC, Never Can Say Goodbye, Who's Loving You, and I'll Be There. Later, two of the group's members, Jermaine and Michael Jackson, would launch solo careers outside of Motown. Now, Gordy was also impressed with the voice of Marvin Gaye. After hearing him sing at a company Christmas party in the 1960s, now, He was well known for his groundbreaking social conscious record What's Going On in the 1970s. The song addressed some of the radical issues occurring at the time. His music was right in line with the overall vision of Mr. Berry Gordy, which was to create music that was for everybody. Marvin later went on to record such hits as Heard It Through the Grapevine and Let's Get It On. During the 80s, Marvin Gaye left Motown, but he didn't stop creating music. He would later release his smash hit Sexual Healing from his album Midnight Love. He would earn 2 Grammys for this project. Unfortunately, his life was cut short, tragically, as he was shot by his father during an argument. Thankfully, he lives on through his music. And countless artists, including myself, look up to the legends of Motown. They set the foundation for what music is, and their inspiration can still be heard in music today. So, where's Motown now? Today, Motown is still alive and well. Production is going forth in bringing the story of Motown to the Broadway stage. Currently, the musical is set to tour the country starting in April of 2014, as the premiere went very well just last year in 2013. You can find out you can find out if they're actually touring near you by visiting www.motownthemusical.com. The story of how Motown came to be is now available for the world to see, all because Berry Gordy took a chance with an idea to create a label of his own. Earlier this year, Gordy was the recipient of the Visionary Award from BET during the BET Honors Ceremony. During his acceptance speech, he said that he started Motown Records because record companies didn't like his ideas. He just wanted to produce good stuff that everyone could enjoy. He believed in himself and the product, the music, that he helped to create. And I'm sure we can all agree that we are glad he believed. The music of Motown will forever be engraved in our hearts and in our minds. I would like to give credit to Matt Hagmeyer Curtis and Scott Lupe for the reference material found in the study guide for Motown the Musical. It was a great reference for today's speech.